Some people are just stubborn, amazingly stupid and naive. They conceive God as an old bearded fairy tale man living in the skies and regard many people who talk about him as crazy. It is hard to bring these people to him. They lack the initial knowledge and the ambition to know him. They just can't understand that he is described with an old bearded man so that we can get some image of him, because if he presents himself in his full form we won't be able to describe and perceive him. It's like when you enter university studying some engineering subject and of course at the initial courses you begin with simple terms and words, you can't just jump to the advanced levels without basic knowledge because you won't be able to understand them. So is the same with God. It's been written and described with simple words so that we can understand it, not because it is simple, but because we are too stupid and lack the knowledge, image and skill to understand it in its real form. Everything that is down on earth is a demo version of something in heaven, and heaven has who knows what billion numbers of things that aren't here. People just take the Bible and God superficial. We are wrong in thinking that we can commit all kinds of sins like ruining other people's lives in order to succeed and that we can and will get away with. The truth is, no, we will not. Same it goes for the women ruining marriages, killers, liars told lies which led to bad results. Focus on Jesus, learn to listen and respond. Follow his words, help others, help homeless people, animals, find a way to redeem yourself in your own eyes and in the eyes of God. Pray to him for salvation. Seek it with your whole heart and soul. Listen to the people who had the chance to experience this before it's too late. There are a few known cases of rich people who when once they have felt how hell feels like they just gave all their money away and focused on God. Same it goes for heaven. Just 1 second in God's presence and experiencing his love cannot compare to all the joy and pleasures on this world even if you are to enjoy it for 1,000,000 years. How come? Where is hell? Where is heaven? In another realm? How can we know for sure? Earth is like a demo version of these places. Like a trial period or something. You should rather aim to be unknown here and have your name written up there. We just don't understand those things. That is why we have Jesus. He told us everything but we still chose to go astray. Every 0.0000001 seconds of our life is being recorded in a book. Let's say, we won't fool and cheat anybody. Everything is being seen. We will be kept accountable for everything. People often wonder how can they get back on the right road. Some think that just being only neutral means being good. But it doesn't. In John 15:13 is written that there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. So far, I have found that the best sense of cleaning I get is when I help, feed, give money to other homeless people and animals. That's why Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Just try to be good. God will give you a mark for trying alone. The Bible is not superficial, we are. God is not an old bearded man in the sky. It's been said in such a say that we can get some image of him, image that our mind can perceive, because if he presents himself in his full form we will explode. There are people who had said that the best reward that you can get is to get near to God and just experience his love, love that will fill you entirely. It will soak in your cells like hot sun rays. It's unexplainable. Many people can't imagine how this feels like, but let's take the following example. Let's say that you fall in love with somebody but you know that it's impossible for him to fall in love with you because you are too ugly, too poor, or just because you are not on his level. And the next day you see that person on your door saying that he loves you and wants to be with you forever. You can imagine how that will feel like, right? Warming, incredible pounding love. Like the meaning of your life has been fulfilled. This is the closest to what God love can be referred to, only that his love for us is like 10 quintillion times stronger and pure in billions of more ways. Revelation 3:20 says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. Often people wonder how can God be so powerful to see everything that happens every 0.0001 of the second and be present everywhere. For example, we can give the following. We all know what a computer CPU is, right? And how many calculations and actions it can do in a nanosecond, right? And this can be achieved by your ordinary 2.7 GHz dual-core. For example, God is like an infinite number CPU with infinite number of GHz. There are superficial people out there who think that if Jesus returns according to what we think, in the clouds, on horses with his angels, they will be just fight with him, you know. They will defeat him because he's on a horse. Nothing special. And the sad thing is there are really people who think and reason in such way. How can this be true? How can he will allow us to defeat him? Using earthly words, heaven is the most technologically advanced place. Every technology that is now on earth comes from heaven as gift from God or as an reward. When something new comes out, we tend to think that someone has invented, which is true but not entirely. We cannot invent anything without God. God gives us these ideas for innovative things. John 15:5 I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me you can do nothing. Nowadays Christians think that all of them are going to heaven just because they call themselves Christians, but what does a Christian truly mean? I watched people on one particular street passing a homeless dog. During the day it was passed by thousands of people who were eating something at the moment, like sandwich or such, but no one of them gave the dog a piece of their food. They were all obsessed with money in their thoughts, thinking like, no, I'm not gonna give this dog a piece of my food because I paid for it, I won't have money for cigarettes, alcohol and even worse things. The point is that we are so deceived that we don't understand it. If just 10% of those thousands of people gave even a small piece of their food to that dog, they would have fed it, but no, they passed it. And what is even worse, afterwards they went home, they indulged their wishes, they did their desired things, played games, ate, and after they satisfied all their wishes they thought about God, only then. First they took care of themselves and then they found time for God. After that they said some superficial prayer. But it wasn't a prayer, because it wasn't sincere. Even the very moment when they were pronouncing the words of that prayer, their hearts and mind were on the materialistic things. They were thinking about the next day, about money, about what to do. They didn't stop to think, hey, if I do that will it fit with God's will? No, they just continued to pronounce some empty words just to pass, you know. So that they can say the next, oh, last night I said a prayer, I'm a believer. No, they are not. They don't know Jesus and they will never do. Because to know him is to listen with your full heart and mind. You have to put aside everything else, every wish that you have, just focusing on him. Why does the Bible and God's word seem superficial to someone? Because it's like going back in time 2,000 years ago and trying to explain to those people what iPhone is and how it works and what it can accomplish, you know. But they won't understand it, because they have never encountered one before, and for that reason you will try to use as many basic words as you can to describe it simply to them. Jesus did the same. He has used simply words so that people back then can understand him. He gave them a basis that they can refer to. In Luke 22:67 it say, if you are the Messiah, they said, tell us. Jesus answered, if I tell you, you will not believe me. You know, when you begin college or something and you lack the basics of that particular subject that you study because you are just beginning to learn, at this point you cannot speak with the professors there with the same words and phrases that they use in that area because they know more than you, and you still have to find the meanings of those phrases and words for yourself. They are teaching you, starting with simple words and terms, hopefully that one day you will understand these terms and words and that you will make the connections between them and be able to teach someone else in this.